Hello and welcome. This is the Town Council of South Kingstown regular Town Council meeting. The date is May 24th. The time is Monday, May 24th, 2010, and the time is 7:30. We are lucky enough this evening to have two Gold Award winners from the Girl Scouts here, so if they'd like to come forward and lead us in the pledge, please come forward. Girls, if you want to just remain standing here for just a minute, and we're going to just quickly do the roll call. Sue?
Council President Fogarty.
Here.
Council Vice President Eddy.
Here.
Councilman O'Neill.
Here.
Councilwoman Whaley.
Here.
Councilwoman McEntee.
Here.
All present.
Thank you, Sue. Next, we're going to do the approval of the minutes of previous meetings, the work session of May 10th. Is there a motion?
I shall move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is from the regular session, May 3rd and May 10th.
I move approval of regular sessions, May 3rd and May 10th.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is the consent agenda. Is anything anybody would like to remove from the consent agenda?
Kathy, there being none, then I move approval of this evening's consent agenda.
Well, actually, we're going to remove, I think,
New
business.
business.
The
We're
new
gonna
business item A and B.
A and B.
What we're going to do?
Yes.
Aha, we are going to, well, then
All
I
right.
amend that.
Okay. So Ella, and there's this, Carol, did you second it?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Which leads us up to new business A and B, which we're going to present right now and do it early on in the evening to these lovely ladies who received their Gold Award. So, I'm going to read the proclamations. Sarah, if you'd like to come forward. Sarah George, whereas Sarah George has devoted her time and her energy to complete the requirements of and participate in such a worthwhile organization as the Girl Scouts of America, and she has met the challenge of living the promise and the law of the Girl Scout program and excelled in leadership, service, and personal development. She has demonstrated self-discipline, time management, originality, and initiative. And whereas Sarah's Girl Scout Award project was entitled Orphan Outreach, which provided benefits to orphanage in Ghana, she was inspired by a visit to Ghana in July of 2008, where she helped to refurbish a local orphanage in the village of Akwam. When she returned home, she spoke to the students at her local middle school about her trip and the poverty that exists in Africa, and how the orphanage in Ghana needed help. The students helped to collect clothes, shoes, toys, and school supplies that Sarah then delivered to the orphanage in Ghana in 2009. And whereas she has attained the highest rank in Girl Scouting by achieving the Gold Award, bringing pride to herself and honor to her troop, number 641, her family, and to her community, may this be a preview of her future dedication to a purpose and service to pursue until she accomplishes the goal that she is seeking. Now, therefore, we, the Town Council of the Town of South Kingstown, do hereby extend our congratulations for a job well done and best wishes for success in the future endeavors. Very nice, Sarah. Congratulations. Next is Lilla. Would you like to come forward? Lilla Wild. Whereas Lilla Wild has devoted her time and her energy to complete the requirements and participate in such a worthwhile organization as the Girl Scouts of America, and she has met the challenge of living the promise of the law of the Girl Scout program and has excelled in leadership, service, and personal development. She has demonstrated self-discipline, time management skills, originality, and initiative. And whereas Lilla's Girl Scout Gold Award project was entitled Festival of the Arts, an effort to raise awareness of children in the community of different ways of displaying art. Being passionate about dancing, she taught dance lessons to children who couldn't afford dance classes. with different routines throughout each lesson. She also held a drive to collect art supplies which were donated to local shelters and put on a concert for her community. And whereas she has attained the highest rank in Girl Scouting by achieving the Gold Award, bringing pride to herself and honor to her troop, number 641, her family, and to her community, may this be a preview of her future dedication to a purpose and service to pursue until she accomplishes the goal that she is seeking. Now, therefore, we, the Town Council of the Town of South Kingstown, do hereby extend our congratulations for a job well done and best wishes for success in all future endeavors. Congratulations. Great job. And I want to thank you both for coming in, because really, we get Eagle Scouts, and we've had, well, over the years now, I think, well, colleagues and Jim, when we've been on, that's maybe our fifth Gold Award for the girls. So I always enjoy seeing the girls coming in. Nothing against the Eagle Scouts, but it is always great to see the Gold Award, and I'm hoping my daughter gets one of those someday too. So really, great job, both of you ladies. Now, you can stay if you want, but you're free to go, but you can see democracy in action here. Okay, next we move on to licenses. A resolution granting a holiday sales license to Wakefield Prescription Center Incorporated, 580 Kingston Road, Wakefield, Rhode Island, 02879. The application is by Jerome Rittner, President, 4100 Post Road, Warwick, and this is a new, and it's continued from the May 10th, 2010. Is anybody here from Wakefield Prescription? Oh, okay.
Joel Rittner.
Oh, Joel, okay. Thank you, Joel, for coming in. So I see you're open, and things are moving right along there.
They are, thank you.
You got a nice color screen out in front, too. I saw that.
Thank you.
19 cents for your digital photos. I like that.
Correct.
All right. Well, could you tell us a little bit about Wakefield Prescription and your plans?
Well, let's see, we've been here for 37 years in town. We're still in the process of moving from our old location,
Okay.
so hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll have everything back to our new location. And hopefully within the next month or so, we're going to have a grand opening.
Okay. Okay. So do you want to tell us your hours of operation?
From 8:30 in the morning till 9 at night.
Okay.
Monday through Saturday, and then Sunday we're open from 8:30 in the morning till 8 at night. And of course, we're open all the holidays also.
Okay.
Most of the time till 8:30 in the morning till maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and some of the Thanksgiving, Christmas.
All that. Anybody have any questions for Joel?
Do you have a drive-up window?
We have a drive-up location, yeah.
Any other questions for
Can
Joel?
can you tell me a little bit about that sign in front? I was waiting at the light there the other day, and it changed, and the colors, it was overwhelming. You can't miss that, so how do I go about getting one of those?
Fighting with the town hall.
No, but what is it, what are the,
Kind of lighting is it?
what kind of lighting, what's needed to,
Let's see, well,
it's not solar, but it's
it's
electric.
it's LED, let's see, LED lighting. It's the same type of sign that's used in
It's like a TV.
the Patriot Stadium and so forth, and you have a computer in the store, you can type in, all the messages that you want to display up there. We also had sent a letter to the chief of police saying that we could use that sign also for an Amber Alert if we ever needed it in South Kingstown also.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Joel?
Just glad you're open
Well,
and
thank you.
very
Thank you for your
familiar.
support.
Yeah. And I have to say, it's very nice to still see the independent pharmacist, still out there.
We're trying hard.
Yeah. I think it's a great thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. I've been in that business of pharmaceutical sales, and it's, a lot of the mom and pop stores have closed up. So to see you expand like that and go across the street, I really think it's a
Yeah,
great thing, and
thank
I
you.
wish you best of luck.
And the location's working out really nice.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
it's a nice building.
great place.
Very
Working out really
nice.
nice.
Did a very nice
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if there's no other questions, do I have a motion?
I move approval of license A.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Okay,
Good luck.
thank you now.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
License B is a resolution granting a victualling license to D&T Restaurant LLC, DBA Ozzie Steak Burgers South, 60 Fortin Road, Kingston, Rhode Island, 02881, subject to issuance of certificate of occupancy, and the application is by Todd Rizzo of 1795 Post Road, Warwick, and this is a new application. Is Mr. Rizzo here to speak on this? Okay.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about Ozzy's Steak Burger?
It's a build-your-own burger concept, first in the state. We have a location in Warwick. We use a Hereford beef, which is an organic meat, so everything's all fresh, nothing's frozen. Hand-cut potatoes, salads, root beer floats, old-fashioned milkshakes. So it's a good concept. It really does well in Warwick. So
Okay, all right. Are there any questions for Mr. Rizzo? How about me?
Where are you in Warwick?
on Post Road and Airport Road, it's actually the old Carvel ice cream building.
Yep,
Oh,
I know
yeah.
exactly where you are.
Yep.
And what was in the space before? Who was there before you?
It was a campus video building,
Oh, okay.
right next to the Hair Waves
Okay,
hair salon.
all right, okay, thank you.
Yes, Carol?
How long have you been in business in Warwick?
It'll be 2 years this June.
And so you're having success with that one?
Yes, I
Okay.
am.
So
Yeah,
good
we
luck
won.
to you
We
here.
won Best Burger in the state a year after we opened, and then they had a big article in the Providence Journal. Gail Champa did a big write-up about us as well. So,
Really?
Yeah,
Great.
yeah,
Best burger, not bad.
yeah.
Any,
That's teasing us at this hour of the night. None of us
I apologize. I apologize.
any other questions for Mr. Rizzo? Do you want to just give us your, oh, Polly, were you going to ask?
No, I wasn't.
Just want to give you times of operations and what your, is it going to be a summer schedule? I know it gets a little bit quiet up there in the summertime. and-
Correct. That was what I was going to actually ask too, because the times of operation from Warwick, I know, to South Kingstown, I know they're going to probably be different. I have a midnight license now, but I didn't know what the hours would be.
Yeah, we don't do the, I'm sorry? Oh, till 1? Oh, well, if you want to flip burgers till 1.
And that's Monday through Sunday, or is there a restriction on that, or?
I don't know.
No,
No, there's no restriction.
Okay, okay.
just as long as it's not 24 hours. That doesn't work well up there.
Yeah, no, I don't think I can run two stores like that. I think I would drop dead before that.
The neighbors don't like that either.
Steve, does he need a holiday license? If he does the... Okay.
And so what your hours do you think you're going to have? Then it's just advertisement for the people who are watching.
Then, right now, in the summer, I would probably do like a 9 or 10 o'clock, and then Monday through Thursday. The weekends, we stay open until 11. I'm just, going by my current location now. And then when school would come in, we would definitely stay open until 1, just on like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Gotcha, okay. All right.
During the week, we would definitely close earlier.
You related to Paul Rizzo by chance?
I am.
Oh, very
Yeah.
nice guy.
Yeah.
It's
It's my cousin.
Is he? Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Very nice guy. You look like him, that's why I figured I might ask.
It runs in the family.
Yeah, it does. It does. I figured out. Okay.
Except I have a little more hair than him.
Yeah, you do. You
Just
do.
a little.
But the face is the same. Go ahead.
Mr. Rizzo, could I ask about the price of your hamburgers?
They start at $6.50, and that includes any cheese of your choice, any sauce which we make in-house, and any 2 toppings, and then any roll or bread of your choice. So you get basically to build your own burger. There's a bunch of selections that you have, but all that stuff is included in the price of $6.50. And then we do a buy one, get one free on Wednesdays and Fridays. We have lunch specials, so
Oh,
we have veggie burgers. It's a big array.
that's good for
Yeah.
teenage boys.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
The 2 for 1.
Hey, if you,
2 for 1.
and if you know any that want to work, please send them to me.
Oh, really?
Oh, very good.
I think we know some kids in this town.
They like to work and eat cheeseburgers, right?
Perfect combination.
I'm sorry, Jim, go ahead.
Are you the T of the D&T, and who is the D?
I am my mother. The D is my mom, because she's my landlord of the existing location.
Okay. And what is her first name? For the
Donna.
D? Donna. Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Donna, okay. Are there any other questions?
Then I'd like to move approval of license B, resolution B.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Thanks.
Hearing none, all is in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Good luck.
Great. Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
yeah, no
Have a nice
problem.
evening.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, bye-bye. All right, license C is a resolution granting a victualling and holiday sales license to Matunic Beach Properties, DBA Roy Carpenter's Beach, 240 Cards Pond Road, Wakefield. The application is by Krista Thorson, 83 South Road, Wakefield, and this is a new application. Is Krista here? No? Okay. Oh, okay. Please come forward and give us your name for the record.
My name's Joan McCooey. I'm just here because Krista couldn't be here.
Okay. and
This application is for the snack bar.
Oh, for the
Last year, they had it run by somebody else, so now they need to get the licenses in their names.
Okay. Anybody
So
have any questions?
so the building made it through the winter storms?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It better.
Could you tell us a little bit about the food you'll be serving?
It's not even me, it's them. Hamburgers, hot dogs, clam cakes, and chowder, the usual snack bars. The audience is very limited now since they don't allow parking, so it's very limited.
Okay.
Yeah, the storms in the past took out all that front for public parking.
Can you walk up the beach and come to it?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
From the town beach, it's very accessible.
Okay. All right, any other questions for Krista? No? Do I have a motion then?
Motion to approve, license C.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Well, Joan, you let Krista know.
Thank
okay?
you, I will. Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, next we're moving on to public hearings. Public hearing A is a public hearing relative to the application for expansion of a license to keep and sell alcoholic beverages in South Kingstown with the general laws of 1956 as amended and as follows: Class B tavern liquor license. The application for expansion of a Class B tavern liquor license filed by Bistro by the Sea LLC, 364 Cods Pond Road, Wakefield, by William Haney, manager. Applicant requests permission to expand the area in which alcoholic beverages may be served to include a patio approximately 32 by 50 and an operational season from April 1st April 1st to October 31st, with 4 additional dates between November 1st and January 7th, in accordance with a special use permit granted by the Zoning Board of Review on March 17th, 2010, and it's further defined in the amended site plan dated April 21st, 2010, on file in the town clerk's office. So I see Mr. Rockerman is already at the mic. So we'll open up the public hearing, and Mr. Rockerman, what do you have to tell us?
Good evening. The Theater by the Sea is the venue for the bistro, as most of you know, and they've had a good success, I think, since Mr. Haney took it over. I would ask Dwayne Crow to come forward, who is the manager of the bistro, and going to answer a couple of questions. The Zoning Board of Review has already granted a special use permit for the hours, but maybe Dwayne, you could tell the council how long you've operated and what the plan is for the expanded area.
And as Jim said, I'm Dwayne Crow. I've been at, I still think of it as a Seahorse Grill, but Bistro by the Sea for about 23 years through the transitions, and Bill has done a terrific job. And basically the reason that we're looking for this small patio expansion is, as any of you know that have been there, and I know that probably all of you have been there, we're looking for a place for people to sit out, overflow, have cocktails and appetizers, and just make our customers a little more comfortable. It will basically be used on busy nights such as Fridays and Saturdays, and eventually we'd like to expand it a little bit to put some tables out there and serve some nice luncheons so that people can overlook the gardens and not get eaten by mosquitoes or rained on or have the umbrellas blown away. But that's basically what we're looking for, just to improve the property even more than it already is.
How many tables do you anticipate that maximum that would seat out there roughly?
Well, we're thinking, Bill and I talked about 8 to 10 probably tables. That's going to be all that we're going to be able to fit comfortably. And we don't want to take away from the garden, excuse me. We don't want to take away from the garden effect of the bistro. So we don't want to overcrowd it out there. We're just looking for something to enhance the property. So, and if the council could do anything about it raining the entire month of June this year, that would be excellent.
Oh, you came to the right people, of course.
We're trying, we're trying.
I have heard that you have that power, so if we can get it not to rain this entire June, that would be excellent.
Keep my fingers crossed for you.
And do you have any questions for me that I might be able to answer for you?
Okay, Carol?
Where is the patio going to be when you walk down towards the bistro through the
Right now, we have a
arbor?
small brick walkway that runs
Yeah.
along the sides of the outside booths,
Mm-hmm.
and the patio would basically be in the same area that the flagpole is.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's sort of contained from the rest of the property. So it's almost really sort of a secret garden effect. It's completely surrounded by trees and gardens. It's going to be really, really pretty. We're excited about it.
That sounds
If we
great.
can get to it. We have a lot going on now. We just did a fundraiser for the Johnny Cake Center,
Yeah.
and we want to get these things done as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
You did a nice job. Any other questions for,
No,
Jim?
just maybe a comment, what everyone just mentioned. Dwayne, you did a great job at the Johnny Cake Center, and, but also, too, special thanks to Bill Haney, because he really was the sponsor behind that, and what a great effort, what a great job. We can't thank him enough. I know that council members, really, we know the importance of your bistro and the theater to the community.
He's done a
And,
terrific thing, and he did a terrific thing for both the Johnny Cake Center, and is in the process of really trying to do the same thing for North Shore Music Theater, which is a daunting, something I would never want to do, but they closed after being very, very popular for years and years, and Bill is attempting to bring that back as well. So I'm very proud of him, and you know, if he doesn't work himself into the ground, I think it will work out really well for him up there as well.
Yeah, good,
Great.
good. He did do a very nice job the other night, I agree.
Great
Very
job.
nice.
Great job.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
What are
Carol.
your hours of operation?
The hours of operation vary somewhat because the shows vary somewhat. Basically, our hours of operation from Tuesday through Sunday are 5:30 to approximately 12:30 to 1, and we do luncheon groups on Thursdays for matinee between 12 and 2. I basically work from 8 until 12:30 at night, and we are closed on Mondays.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions regarding this? No? No? Is there any questions from the public? Does anybody have any comments? Because this would be the time to come forward.
Seeing none, then Kathy, I'd like to then move forward and close public hearing A.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And then what does the council?
you.
Well,
Thank you very
That's
much.
just
Look forward
closing.
to
We
seeing
haven't.
all of you.
Wait a minute, we just closed the public hearing.
sorry,
We
so
haven't
we did
voted yet.
Well, it's okay.
So what is the council's?
Thanks anyway.
So sure of himself. Okay, council?
I think we're all familiar with this, and I
Yeah.
think it would be an excellent, not a very huge expansion, but I think it's a good idea. I think it would add to the experience.
So that's your motion, Polly, to approve.
So this is my motion that we approve the application for expanding the alcoholic beverage by 32 feet by 50 feet in the patio at Bistro by the Sea.
Okay,
Okay, as I add that right in.
okay, as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Good luck.
No, thank you.
And we will try to work on that rain situation for you.
Thank you, I
Okay?
really appreciate it.
Okay. All right, next is public hearing, item B, a public hearing relative to proposed amendments to the town code as shown in Exhibit 1 attached hereto. Several of the proposed amendments are substantive in nature, substantive, and I can't even say it. I can't talk tonight, I'm sorry. Substantive in nature, and other proposed amendments are non-substantive. I can't say it, I can't say it. I feel bad tonight, I can't say it. With typographical errors and grammatical changes and are being made throughout the town code. I apologize to everybody in the town, I can't speak tonight, I don't know what the problem is. So it is on the Exhibit B, I don't know, Steve, you're gonna come talk about this?
The public hearing tonight is in accord with the town charter. The town charter, section 3300, requires that the town council recodify or republish the town's code every 10 years. 10 years ago, we did a republication. The difference between a codification, recodification and republication is really that there's less, if there are less changes that are necessary, the republish makes a lot more sense, and we're not bringing in a company to be able to review the entire code. The review that has been done by each of the municipal department directors is to review those sections of the code that relate to their departments. They have made suggested revisions. Many of those are substantive changes that, and when we say substantive, we mean that there's changes to definitions or in the manner in which business is conducted. The advertisement that was provided documents that the changes were available for review and are open for public discussion tonight. If there's questions that the council has on any of the changes that are proposed, I'd be glad to answer them. If the general public has questions on any of the revisions, I'd be glad to try to address those questions as well.
Council?
Steve, can we avoid any monetary penalties for those folks on a means basis, might not be able to move to the OWAT system from an ISDS? If it's interfamily, I mean, are there some situations where that becomes prohibitive?
When we deal with the ISDS or systems, we're dealing really with an ordinance which is drafted based on what statutory requirements are at the state level. And I'm not sure that there is any type of an appeal process other than the requirements of the state in terms of the replacement of cesspools. So I don't think that there really is. I would say that we do provide the ability for people to get loans at 2% interest to be able to replace failing septic systems. Obviously, they have to be qualified and approved through the finance director as far as the equity that they hold in the property. But we have provided quite a few of those types of loans as a means of being able to provide people with an opportunity to be able to get the bank financing and to do it at a discounted rate. We'll work with anybody that we can. The main thing that we need is to see progress made. First is the engineering plans itself, and a lot of times it takes a long time to get those through DEM. But we'll work with people. We're not trying to do anything other than what we're required to do under the state statute.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Steve regarding this? No? Now, is there anybody from the audience who has had a chance to look at the exhibit, if they have any questions?
One point I would note is that there are a number of changes that deal with the renaming of different municipal departments as well as municipal positions. The Public Works Director was throughout this document, and any reference to Public Works Director needs to be amended to, say, Public Services Director. I would note that there is at least 2 places where we missed it. Section 10-3 should say Public Services Director, as well as on Section 16-41, both of which I caught this afternoon when I went through the document one last time. But I asked the council in terms of if you're prepared to adopt the changes as presented, note those 2 reference changes, and also provide us with the ability to be able to make those type of changes where it's a name change from a department director. Certainly with Recreation Director, we went to Leisure Services. Public Works went to Public Services. I want to get all of those straight before we do the republication and get that into a formal document once again.
And the leisure, I can't talk today, I should stop. Leisure Services Director, that was changed, a lot of with the new, from ISDS to the,
OWATs.
OWATs. On-site wastewater treatment, yes. Yes, that's a lot of that, just updating of the things. Okay.
I
Any-
move we close the public
Okay,
hearing.
I didn't see anybody come up.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, do we have a motion to approve with the amendments that Steve spoke about? Is there a motion?
I so move. I move we pass the public hearing B with the two amendments that were mentioned.
Add, as Steve suggested, along with the two amendments, to also allow any additional Scrivener's errors to be corrected that are consistent with the changes that have already been made. That'll pick up things like Public Services Director, or OWATS, et cetera.
Okay,
Yes.
as amended.
And second.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, next we'll move on to communications. Communication dated May 4th, continued from May 10th, 2010, by the request dated May 9th, 2010, from Judd Nuzum, requesting to present additional information relative to the petition previously submitted to the Town Council concerning the moratorium on the granting of special use permits involving wetland and wetland stream setback relief is received, placed on file, and the Town Council further directs, I don't know, yeah, Mr. Nuzum's here regarding his letter. I didn't know if you wanted to come forward and speak.
Thank you for rescheduling. My name is Jude Newsom. I live at 46 Crestwood Drive in Kingston. I wanted to come this evening and give you a quick update on Lot 123. The zoning board did approve it. They ignored the soil type, which is Ridgeway, Whitman, and Leicester, which has very slow permeability and is generally considered as unsuitable for building. They ignored the change in the course of the stream and the conflict between the actual wetlands vegetation markers and those that were represented by the applicant. They ignored the change in the nature of the neighborhood, which was threatened by the 15-foot setback from Ledgewood Road. And they ignored the danger to the wetland barrier trees and vegetation that would have been exacerbated by construction on Lot 123. Fortunately for the town, Mr. John Hadley, who owns Lot 124 and lives there, purchased Lot 123 after the decision was made. So I would like to express my appreciation to Mr. Hadley, and I think the town should as well, for preventing what would have been another nail in the coffin on the side of the hill. But that's not the real reason I'm here tonight. I'm here because of the same reason I was here on 26 April. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
And that is the dozen or so wetlands lots up the hill from us in the Parkwood Little Rest area. Again, I'm seeking the moratorium for building on those lots until the proper consideration has been granted to the impact and the infrastructure requirements of their construction. If the moratorium is not put in place, then the zoning board will approve construction one lot at a time with disastrous results on the abutters and the residents in Biscuit City, Parkwood, and Little Rest. Again, referencing back to the 26 April meeting, one of the council members took a glance at some charts and graphs that I prepared and made a statement that charts and graphs can show anything. So I wanted to come back this evening and tell you that my charts and graphs are correct. I've done a lot of additional homework, and I've got a lot of additional documentation that show that I'm right on track. A study conducted by the University of New Hampshire that was published on the 5th of April, 2010, details precipitation data from 219 National Weather Service stations in New England, New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. And they show annual precipitation increases from 1948 to 2007, with the most significant increases occurring most recently. Also, it's stated that the region is experiencing more extreme precipitation events, with the largest increases occurring in spring and fall, which is the worst time because there's no transpiration by deciduous trees. Also, the report indicated that some coastal regions are experiencing twice the number of extreme precipitation events as they were 50 years ago. We're a coastal region, and we're not one of those that is experiencing twice the amount of extreme weather, but we do show up as a significant increase in extreme weather conditions. And I'll define those for you in a minute. The details of the study are available on carbonsolutionsne.org. And one of the trend charts, by the way, is right on track with the trend chart that I showed you on the chart that I presented to you on the 26th. Right on the mark, the same basic trend for increase in precipitation. The study breaks down into more detail, and it shows the increase in major storm events, starting at the 1-inch level, 1 inch in 24 hours, and incrementally by inch, 1 inch at a time, up through 4-inch events. And they're increasing. So I hope we can agree on one thing tonight, and that is that we have had, and they are projecting that we will continue to have, increased extreme weather events. I wish we could all agree on that tonight. I also hope that we can agree that we've had incredible growth in South Kingstown over the last 20 to 30 years, significantly reducing the amount of permeable land to absorb stormwater. A significant portion of the growth has occurred on non-conforming wetland lots, and additional growth may well involve these non-conforming lots almost exclusively. So we have a problem here. I'm sure that we can all agree that the Parkwood, Little Rest, and Biscuit City areas are wet. And I think, in fact, I've heard that from everybody in here. And to quote Mr. George, well, tell us something new. Mr. George, of course, being the chairman of the zoning board. I'm trying to tell you something new, and that is it's wetter. And it's getting wetter all the time. And the situation, if we have indiscriminate building, lot by lot, one lot at a time, is just going to get worse. At the town council meeting on the 26th of April, it was decided that we did not have a dire emergency that would qualify for a moratorium. And I'm going to add parenthetically here that when we have our hurricane rain this year or next year or 2 years from now, when it comes, we will have a dire emergency based on the construction that we've done, the wetlands that we've transgressed upon. And what we need to do is understand that right now and not go any further down this path. We really need to declare a moratorium. We need to look at the surrounding area, consider the bigger picture, look at the village, look at the best interests of the abutters and the neighborhoods, like the comprehensive plan says, and that should be the basis for the moratorium. There are two other good reasons for a moratorium. Number one, the DEM and the Coastal Resources Management Council published a final draft this April, I think it was published on the 6th of April, that is titled Rhode Island Stormwater Design and Installation Standards Manual. It discusses many different aspects of what we should be doing now, and incorporated in that are some of the things that happened in the March flooding. The other thing is that we're in the middle of doing a comprehensive plan, and it seems to me very reasonable that we would declare a moratorium until we can look at the information in this stormwater management manual that is going to be, it's the standard for the state, and put that together with the comprehensive plan. I'm not asking you to say we're never going to build on these properties. I'm asking you to declare a moratorium until we can find out whether these lots should or should not be built on, and if they are, what's going to happen. I don't think that's unreasonable. I think that if it's 6 months till we get the plan done, anybody who is harmed by waiting 6 months to build on a piece of land up there is not going to be in a position to sue for that reason, and the town has every reason to go ahead with the moratorium in any case based on its own existing comprehensive plan. That's the first thing that I'd like to ask you. Declare the moratorium until we can finish the comprehensive plan. The second thing that I'd like to mention is that I've been doing a lot of homework, and I've looked at the comprehensive plan community workshops. And what shocks me is that at this point, nothing stands out. There's nothing in those in the initial stages here that I've seen that talks anything about flood abatement or stormwater management. There's nothing in there at all yet. Now, maybe I'm jumping the gun here. Maybe somebody's been working on that all along and they just haven't put it in there. And I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's not there. And I think that the town council should make that one of its top 5 initiatives for the new comprehensive plan. We had a terrible situation here in this town, as we all know, and many of us experienced it personally. And you know, what we don't want to do is make it worse. We don't want to decrease the level of rain that causes a problem like this by additional indiscriminate building or development. I would also like to suggest that the comprehensive plan update get key and chief billing on the town website homepage with a direct link and some information there that really makes it stand out that we are doing a comprehensive plan, that we want input from all of the citizens of the town, and we want to do this and we want to do it right so that for the next 20 years we'll have a plan that has goals and milestones and measurement, which I didn't see in the last plan, by the way. You know, that's pretty much all I have. Just to summarize, I'd like a moratorium until we can complete the comprehensive plan. I would like the comprehensive plan to include as one of the top 5 initiatives flood abatement and stormwater management. And I'd like the website to show very prominently that we are updating the comprehensive plan. I hope you can do this for me. More importantly, I hope you can do it for the town. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Newsom. Jim?
Yeah, Mr. Newsom, I took what you had said at the various last meetings in your letters quite seriously, and I have asked Mr. Acello to maybe give us all a little bit of lesson of what we can do as citizens here. What are the paths, routes, options that we can take that the state allows us, our charter allows us? And Michael, maybe you could address Mr. Newsom and the audience and give us those options and routes that we can go here to change this or moratorium. And then after that, maybe Steve can talk about how we can refortify the planning look at this through the comprehensive plan.
Sure. I think one of the things that happened after the last meeting is the council did refer this issue to the planning department, the planning board, to begin to look at perhaps some changes to our ordinance with regard to addressing what Mr. Newsom suggested, which is stormwater drainage, you know, the flood issues, to put into the zoning board's toolbox some additional tools, additional criteria that they can use when they're evaluating these requests for special use permits for the on-site wastewater treatment systems, to look at the drainage issues. And I know that that is something that they are looking at. I believe the Conservation Commission's looking at it also. And ultimately, it may result in recommendations coming back to you for some zone changes. Additionally, Jim, you and I spoke about voter initiative, whether or not there's an ability for citizens of the town of South Kingstown to petition the council to have changes made to the ordinance via referendum. If there's a threshold number of individuals who sign a petition, they ask the council to make this ordinance change. If the council doesn't make the change, whether or not that can actually go to a referendum. That would require an amendment to the town charter. To amend the town charter, it requires the council to place a question, of course, on the ballot. In many cases, the council will set up a charter review commission, although that's not necessary. It's generally the way it happens, so that you can have an ability for the public to give input to that charter review commission. Then it finally makes its way to the council for a public hearing before they decide whether to put such a question on the ballot, and that would be the voter initiative issue. I think those were the issues. I know we got into some of the technical stuff about awarding both a special use permit and a dimensional variance and what's behind that. I'm more than happy to go through an extremely brief synopsis of what happened in the court system, what the state legislature has done, but basically the Supreme Court did issue a decision that said that if the criteria for special use permit are not met, then a board does not have the ability to at the same time grant a dimensional variance. Following that, it's called the Newton case. It was a Warwick, Rhode Island case. Following that decision, the Rhode Island legislature adopted some enabling legislation which permits cities and towns to adopt an ordinance within its zoning ordinance that would allow both the issuance of a special use permit and a variance, a dimensional variance. We here in South Kingstown, up until this point, have decided not to adopt such an ordinance because it would almost become mandatory, meaning no matter who came before the boards, once that ordinance is on the books, they have the right to demand both items be granted if in fact they meet the various criteria. Since we did not adopt that ordinance, we have the ability in South Kingstown to pick and choose which areas where we'll grant both, which gives us, I think, a lot more discretion to be able to say no in cases where we wish to say no. I think that pretty much summarizes. If there's something more specific, I'm more than happy to address. But
Thank you, Michael. Did you understand what he just said, Mr. Newsom? I'm still catching up with it, but...
Yeah, I think so. Just might add that it seems like the zoning board has misunderstood maybe their latitude in regard to choosing and picking.
I think, and Vin can correct me if I'm wrong, since that legislation went into effect, there's only been one instance, right, Vin? The only time both the special use permit and variance has ever been granted. And I think we all understand that this particular lot went through many reiterations, went back to DEM a couple of times, certainly came to the council a couple of times. It was a very long and drawn-out process. And at some point, I guess the zoning board felt that all the criteria that were asked of them, Conservation Commission too, all the criteria that were requested were finally met, which is why they got to this point. But this seems to be the exception rather than the rule, since it's only happened once in many years. I know it affects the one lot you're most concerned about.
No, I'm really not concerned about that lot anymore, thanks to Mr. Hadley, but I am, again, here tonight because of the moratorium and because of those, I think it's a total of 16 lots up the hill that, if you look at them one at a time, they're going to get approved. And maybe they should be, but not until we get a new set of standards out of the DEM and Coastal Resources Management Handbook. And again, I'm not asking you to delay or have a moratorium for 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. I'm asking you to do it until we can do the comprehensive plan and incorporate this new information from the state. So that's really why I'm here tonight. And also, I think to also hopefully, I personally plan to try to get involved, if I'm allowed to, with the planning board, the planning commission, by attending meetings. And as I said, I've been doing a lot of homework. I'm looking at the Greenworks plan for the city of Philadelphia, and I see a comprehensive plan there that's absolutely beautiful. Goals, milestones, measurements, all the things that we need to have in a dynamic plan that puts this town right for the next 20 or 30 years. I'm not saying that we're wrong right now, but we want to have the right course in the future. Whatever mistakes we've made in the past, we probably can't go back and fix them. We can go forward without making any more, hopefully, or making fewer. It's a good town, according to the survey. 25% of the people said it's an excellent town. Well, I think we ought to have we ought to have a town goal of getting that up to 50%, saying it's a great town, and 25% saying it's a good town. So I've lived here for 30 years. I don't have a long-term vested interest. My kids will not live in South Kingstown. When some of these things happen or don't happen, the good things or the bad things, I probably won't be here. But that doesn't make me feel any less strongly about the fact that I raised my kids here. This is where I call home, and I want to see it thrive in the future. And that's, I'm not a minister, by the way. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Thank you. Vin, did you want to say something? Vin? Come on.
Good evening. I actually had spoken with Mr. Newsom today after having sent him a letter in reply to his earlier correspondence. My letter was dated May the 6th. In the letter, I had outlined a process that we intended to utilize to address the referral of the matter to the planning board. And I believe the tentative plan at this point would be at the June work session of the planning board to begin those discussions in earnest. And I would encourage Mr. Newsom and his people in the community to come out and participate in that discussion. I still need to formally schedule that with the chair of the planning board's concurrence, but we've begun gathering some initial information, and we do welcome the information that's been produced from the neighbors and Mr. Newsom and others, because I think that will help us to do a better job in that review and assistance to the planning board in terms of the referral. I would also add, in terms of the comp plan, issues related to drainage and flood management will indeed be a key amongst the considerations. At this point, we've been working on certain of the elements primarily, but rest assured that we will quite seriously, and deservedly so, include those types of considerations. Mm-hmm. And the science of drainage management is changing, as noted, as the reference to the new manual has been published by DEM, and those are the types of things, those best management practices that would be reflected in the comp plan. And then, the comp plan is like a foundation document that often has a direct relationship to ordinance work. So that would be the flow, so to speak, of the policy, then translation into ordinance action based upon those policies and goals articulated in the 5-year update, which is what we're working on. It's not a complete new plan, because I think we have a pretty good solid plan, but it can always be improved. And that's the whole idea with the update, to make it contemporary, address issues that are contemporary, and also to improve it with better focus on what the community's wants and desires are.
Okay. So. Thank you, Vin, for giving us that update. Yep, Carol.
Vin, I also see in your letter that this review will be conducted in coordination with the town's Conservation Commission, which I think is a good point. And by involving them, you'll get them involved in the environmental issues, and you'll also consider the individual's property rights and bring
Right. There's a lot of balancing
issues
to be done, obviously. But I think we have better tools in place today than we had even just a few years ago to take a look at constrained parcels and get, not so much do a full engineering review, but just to get a better idea as to their characteristics, and that can lead us to, perhaps some changes in the ordinances and the tools that would be available to decision-making bodies in considering properties of this sort. As a matter of fact, I think, if we do adopt regulations that would, or propose regulations to amend, that's 504 of the zoning, it may be based upon a review of some lots in this vicinity in Kingston, but it would be applicable town-wide, because those types of questions come before the zoning board with, a relative degree of commonality, but, the ordinance would apply across the board, or any changes. And I think issues relating to drainage, or as the solicitor indicated, providing additional tools for the zoning board, I think would be, worthwhile. So when they're faced with these difficult balancing decisions of a property owner trying to exercise the rights to use the property versus the appropriateness of the land itself and its capacity for use, and the surrounding vicinity as well. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Vin? No. Okay. what is the council's pleasure with Mr. Nuzum's letter? Communication item?
I move we refer it to the planning department.
Right, second.
Yeah. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? No. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, so we're moving it to referring it to the planning board, where they were doing work on it, as Mr. Murray just spoke about.
Can you explain that to me? Does that mean you're not going to do the things that I asked? Or you're referring it to the planning board to decide whether or not it's appropriate?
Yes, we are. We're asking the planning board to, that was my motion. We're referring it to the planning board. They're the people who really should be looking at this now.
So there's no possibility of a moratorium?
No, not at
That's
this, not at this
unfortunate.
point.
It wasn't on the agenda.
You know, the planning board certainly could come after reviewing this and looking at the statistics, looking at the new procedures, the new guidelines, et cetera. The planning board certainly could make a recommendation to the council that, hey, this is going to take some time, and in the meantime, maybe a moratorium is appropriate. I don't know if they'll do that, but that's certainly something they could look at.
But the planning board, as in their advisory opinion to the council, can take that position that they've...
Oh, they could make that recommendation to you, absolutely.
Not just in the world of water, but in the world
Well,
of legal...
They're looking at the comp plan. The way I would see it, remember, there were two ways to get it a moratorium. One was the dire emergency, which in my opinion, I advise you didn't exist. The other is through the comp plan process. So that's, of course, a much more complex, thoughtful process. So they will look at that, and they certainly have the ability, if they choose, to make that recommendation to you. But I think in answer to your question, the council's referring this, they're not making that decision.
Okay, what about the two other aspects of what I asked for? The emphasis on making floodwater abatement and storm drainage one of the top 5 initiatives in the plan. I think that would be appropriate for the council to do. And also to highlight the comprehensive plan on the town website. What about those two?
Mr. Murray is here, who's...
We have no difficulty in providing information on the town's website. The front page of the website provides information on a number of different things. The day after the state closed 138, we had the maps and the detours there. We provide timely information. If we need to provide something that provides greater focus on the comp plan and the meeting schedule that the planning board's having, we certainly can do that. And provided there are not other things that are going to take precedent over that fact, we would have something in there as far as the comp plan hearings. I would note that that all of that is on the planning board's, planning department's webpage already. So we can attempt to accommodate that, but it's not going to take total control of the town's website.
Well, nor should it. No, and that's not what I'm suggesting. What I'm suggesting that at least you have something on the sidebar or somewhere that says comprehensive plan update, so somebody can click on it and get linked to the proper place, which is probably the planning department. I mean, it should be pretty straightforward to get there. If you're browsing and you see the home page, comprehensive plan update, it should just jump right out at you like anything else on the sidebar there. Right now, there's no reference to it on that home page, and it'd be very simple to put one in there. I'll do it for you if you'd like.
I'd be glad to take a look at it.
Okay, thank you. And then the other issue of the top 5 initiatives?
I think Mr. Murray did point that out, that, as I wrote here, he said that the flood water will be key elements in the comprehensive plan. Isn't that what you said, Vinnie? Yes.
I think the town council should make it, very clear that it is one of the top 5. But it's certainly up to you all.
I think we're in agreement with Mr. Murray when he says he's going to put it on there. He usually does, and he reports back to us, so we will be looking for it, I assure you, Mr. Nuzum. Okay? Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. We voted on that. Okay, we're moving on to communication item C, a communication dated May 13th from Roland Benjamin requesting consideration for a resolution regarding the Rhode Island Development of Education's proposed education funding formula is received, placed on file, and the town council further directs. Council?
We talked about this in the work session, and this was before we had our meeting with Commissioner Gist, and got some questions answered on the funding formula, and also with the help of Mr. Alfred, we looked into it.
Yeah, Mike, yeah, your
Oh, I'm
colleagues speak.
With Mr. Alfred's help, we looked into the funding formula, and we had in it almost all the things that Roland Benjamin mentioned in his letter. I think the only thing we did not was he requested that we delay the formula. I don't think we necessarily want to do that. I don't think we feel it's in our power, but I think we were in agreement to what he said. I think we should just write him a letter saying that, thanking him, and we're in agreement with most of what he says.
Carol?
The resolution that we unanimously passed, was it 2 weeks ago? Was much more comprehensive than what Mr. Benjamin has proposed, and I think, although he started to address some of the issues, I think the one that the council passed was addressed that and more. I mean,
I don't think he realized we had passed one.
Right.
No, I don't think he did.
So I think that we've, like you said, Polly, we have incorporated his concerns into the resolution we already passed.
Okay. So you want to send a thank you, Polly? Is that it?
Thank you, and then place it on file.
Polly, is there a
That was
second?
my motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is communication dated May 14, 2010, from the Burrillville Town Council requesting support of their resolution seeking repeal of Rhode Island General Law 44-34-1, the Motor Vehicle and Trailer Excise Tax Elimination Act of 1998, in its entirety, is received, placed on file, and the Town Council further directs. Council? Which would you like to do with this?
We also discussed this in the work session. And we were talking about, we hesitate to completely eliminate this, to ask them to completely eliminate the motor vehicle and trailer excise tax. We know the legislature is working on this, and we think we should give them time to do their work.
Okay. So we're going to place it on file?
Place it on file.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next, we move on to comments from interested citizens. Does anybody who would like to please come forward, have anything to say? State your name for the record. Hearing none, if nobody's coming.
Somebody.
I didn't want to hog the microphone. Figure if somebody else wanted to come up. Jonathan Daly LaBelle. So I guess there's a big meeting tomorrow night. I don't know if there's any further update or not. I'm not necessarily looking for something right now, but it sounds to me like the funding formula, if it is passed, the implementation will be delayed. So I just really wanted to personally thank Representative Caprio and the other, Senator Sosnowski and the other representatives for their hard work, in doing that, if in fact that is what ends up happening. It seems like it's giving our school committee a little breathing room to kind of step back from this precipice of potentially abandoning the neighborhood, popular neighborhood elementary school model that's really been a hallmark of education in South Kingstown. Thank you. And I don't know if that's, who knows what will happen tomorrow, but hopefully they'll take that room to breathe and not make any drastic moves. I guess that they're still, if I had to read the tea leaves, I would say that they're probably still going to move the 5th grades out. I'm not sure where there's such an urgency to make that move of taking the 5th graders out of the neighborhood elementary school model, which has been very popular. I think there's a lot of advantages to keeping them where they are. But, it seems like, I don't know what tomorrow night's going to bring, as I said, but I wouldn't be surprised to see if that happens, which really, potentially sets up, again, the risk of closing one of our neighborhood elementary schools. So whatever happens tomorrow, I hope that everybody that's been very plugged into this process stays plugged in, because it's, and I'll give you guys credit too, to an extent that your jobs are very difficult right now. So I think that people need to realize that, no matter what, next year, it's almost like as soon as this budget's done and all the pieces are in place, that's the start of the budget season. So, moving away from the thank yous, I guess I'll advocate to the town council to ensure that they do everything within their power to increase public participation, really get a sense of what people, want from their town, what they feel like they can afford, how much of a value the neighborhood elementary school model is. And I know that that's not exactly under your control, but I'll say similar to the school committee. I'm sure you will know that. But also keep in mind that as the town council, how the schools impact the town, the fabric of our town, that piece is in your control. So I guess just keep that in mind as well. Thank you.
Is there anybody else? Ella, have something?
Yes, I just have 2 comments. The Chamber of Commerce, actually all of the joint chambers in the area are sponsoring a multi-chamber summer kickoff beach party tomorrow. It's at Canachet Club, and they have some entertainment, the Cooler Heads, with chowder and clam cake. So it's $10 for members and $15 for non-members. And then the last comment is that I too would like to thank Representative Caprio for spending time with us with the Commission of Education Wednesday night. I didn't realize till after the meeting that he had a commitment with the Judicial Committee, so he passed the gavel to cover his seat there to spend time here in the town chambers with us. So thank you.
Carol, do you want to?
Yes, I attended on Monday. Let's see, when did I go? On Saturday, I attended the open house for Twisted Throttle, which is located at the Palisades Mill. And it was, they had food, music, it was a very nice open house. But what was interesting to me is that this man, Eric Stevens, started this business in 2002, and he has a showroom and a warehouse. It's all about motorcycle equipment, not motorcycles themselves, but different parts of equipment that you would buy to add on to your motorcycle. And he's a true entrepreneur, and he adds life to Peacedale and the Palisades. And if you need any motorcycle equipment, I said I'd give him a plug, so head on down to Twisted Throttle.
Okay. So with that, should we go to the town manager's report?
I have nothing twisted to
Okay.
provide.
Good to hear. Mike?
Unless there are questions, I have nothing either.
No, and then we did our appointments at the last council meeting. And we've done our new business A, although we didn't approve new business A and B, so why don't we take a motion to approve new business item A and B, although we already passed the resolutions out to the young ladies.
I'll move to approve new business item A and B.
Second. Second. It's been moved to second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next, we move on to a new business E, a resolution authorizing an award of bid to Odyssey Automotive Specialty Incorporated, 317 Richmond Mine Road, Wharton, New Jersey, for one 2010 Chevrolet Tahoe ambulance conversion per bid specifications in an amount not to exceed $50,198, including trade-in allowances, and is further described in a memorandum from the EMS Director to the Town Manager dated May 18th, titled Bid Recommendation Type C1 Non-Transporting Ambulance.
Odyssey was the sole bidder. They meet all qualifications, as well as have a track record as far as this type of specialized equipment. This is a non-transport ambulance that sits on a Tahoe heavy-duty base. We had anticipated budget appropriation of about $60,000. Once we pay for the vehicle, the lettering, as well as some of the retrofit that's necessary, will probably be in the $56,000 range, so we're within budget.
Any questions for Steve regarding that? If not, can I have a motion?
Yeah, motion to approve new business resolution E.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is new business F, a resolution authorizing award of contract to Stokes Title Services, 112 New Road, Exeter, Rhode Island, for Superfund landfill-related property title services in an amount not to exceed $10,800, including a contingency, and is further described in the memorandum from the Public Service Director to the Town Manager, dated May 12th, and entitled Superfund Landfill Title Services Recommendation. Steve?
South Kingstown continues to be the managing partner for Narragansett and the university on dealing with the West Kingston landfill, and the managing partner on the Rose Hill landfill closeouts with Narragansett. There's 24 parcels that have to have title search done, which surround each of those two sites. The projected cost of the $7,800 with a $3,000 contingency is the lowest qualified bidder that has been submitted to us. The price for South Kingstown will be about $3,030 of the total $7,800 that is in the base bid. So a large portion of that's going to be shared by the other partners. We'll incur the expenses and they'll be reimbursed by our partners.
Okay. Any questions for Steve regarding this? No. Do I have a motion?
I move approval of new business item F.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is I, a resolution establishing the following boards and affirming their current charges, membership, and existing terms of appointment as further described in the memorandum from the Deputy Town Clerk to the Town Manager dated May 19, 2010, entitled Reestablishment of Boards and Commissions. 1, the Building Code Board of Appeals. 2, the Conservation Commission. 3, the Economic Development Committee. 4, the Housing Authority. 5, the Minimum Housing Code Board of Appeals. 6, the Trustees of the South Kingstown School Funds. 7, Waterfront Advisory Commission. And 8, Emergency Management Agency. Steve?
All of the boards that are listed here are boards that were within the town code that we're removing from the code. What this will do is to, by ordinance, reestablish each of those 8 boards that are listed there. There are several other boards that will stay in the town code, and those are the ones that are required by the town charter. There are 4 boards that were in town code that we've recommended the removal of. Human Service Advisory Committee, that has been inactive since 1996. The Tenant Board of Affairs, that has been inactive, I believe, since 1997. The Watson Committee, once we closed the Watson House, the committee was disbanded. And the town's Recycling Committee, which goes back to the 1970s before the transfer station was constructed. So those will be removed from the town code based on the action that the council passed earlier tonight. And the 8 boards that are here are removed from the code but will be reinstated by resolution. That also will provide the council with greater flexibility to be able to change the number of representatives on each of those boards, or to expand or limit the scope associated with their charges.
Okay. Any questions for Steve regarding this? We talked about this in the work session, so I think we're clear on that. Do I have a motion?
I move approval of new business item I.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes unanimously. J is a resolution authorizing the following fee schedule effective July 1st, 2010 for the Rose Hill Regional Transfer Station and amending the town's schedule of fees for the residential user refuse tags to $1.80 per tag and yard waste tags to $1.16 per tag, and is further described in the memorandum from the Public Service Director to the Town Manager dated May 18th, entitled 1011 Refuse Tags and Yard Waste Tag Fee Schedule Resolution.
The cost of the tags will go from $1.70 in the current fiscal year to $1.80 in the 10-11 year for the refuse tags. The yard waste bags will increase from $1.10 to $1.16. That reflects the 6-cent increase that was required based on the vendor that services the yard waste, and is part of the 5-year contract that the town entered into with Waste Haulers, Inc. out of Cranston.
Okay. Are there any questions for Steve regarding this? No?
Then I move approval of new business, Resolution J.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. L is a resolution authorizing award of bid to Waste Haulers LLC, 1 Starline Way, Cranston, for the regular refuse package at the unit cost per pickup in accordance with their bid for fiscal years 10-11 and 11-12, and is further described in the memorandum from the Public Service Director to the Town Manager dated May 19th. Steve?
The town goes out each year for waste disposal contracts. There's 3 contracts that are on the agenda tonight, L, M, and N. The first one that is open for discussion at this point is the regular trash disposal for municipal buildings. The recommendation is to the low qualified bidder, Waste Haulers, Inc. If I move along, item M is an award to Waste Management, Inc., which is for the grit removal. Grit removal is the materials that are removed from the pumping stations in the wastewater treatment facility that need to be transported to a proper facility. And the third item, item N, is a water bid to Waste Haulers, Waste Haulers LLC, which is for the annual disposal of for sludge transportation to the facility in Woonsocket.
All right, so we'll lump these all together for L, M, and N. Is there any questions for Steve regarding these 3? If not, do I have a motion?
I move approval of new business items L, M, and N.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion also passes unanimously. And I need a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is unanimous. Meeting is adjourned at 8:53 p.m.